Bonaire is a Dutch Caribbean island which lies some 50 miles north of the Venezuelan coast, and it is home to the huge solar-powered salt works. The clean blue waters and pristine coral reefs attract tourists from around the world for scuba diving, snorkeling, fishing, windsurfing and kiteboarding.
The sprawling saltworks that take up 13% of the island contain miles of roads around a massive system of ponds. In total, the area is around 9 square miles. The Spanish landed on the island in 1499 and were attracted to the local salt for its use in preserving fish and meat. The Dutch, who ruled the island for most of the last few centuries, quickly set up salt pans, and with the introduction of slavery would turn Bonaire into the one-stop shop for salt. Windmills powered by the trade winds pumped seawater into the pans. Though the windmills have been replaced, they are still used today. The water would slowly evaporate and leave the salt crystals, some of which would be as large as a man's fist.
The slave houses were built in 1850s and even thought we found sleeping in these small spaces barbaric. After years of sleeping on the beach, slaves were fortunate to have them. The houses were built to house up to 6 slaves during the week. On Sundays, they would have walked home to their families. 4 sets of these villages were built along the west coast. Each one was marked by a colored obelisk: white, orange, blue and red. The colors represented the quality of the salt, white being the finest grade of salt.
Ships would arrive at the bay. Their captains would know by the coloured obelisks where to anchor. The slaves would load the graded salt in barrels and head baskets. The salt would then be transported to the ships by brigs.
After the emancipation in 1860s, the salt pans were no longer viable. They were abandoned and left to nature to reclaim them. In 1960s, the Antilles International Salt Company began plans for a modern system of ponds. By the early 1970s, International Salt shipped its first load of salt using modern techniques and the new quay for Bonaire. Thanks to the salt pans, some areas have become a breeding ground for birds. The pink flamingos that live here all year round have become the signature of birds Bonaire. Clean water and clean air are what makes the salt produced here so good. With the sun, arid climate and gentle trade winds makes the process relatively fast. It takes only 2 to 3 months from the time that the seawater enters the salt flats until the salt crystals are ready for harvest.
The final wash salt is 99.6% pure and is then piled high into the iconic salt pyramids. The salt works can produce around 1 million tonnes of salt per year.